The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Swing and a drive. That baby is gone, and the Flames have the lead. Swing and a miss, strike three. There's your ball game.
Welcome to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network. The Flames Clubhouse Report is brought to you by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance. Become a friend of the farm. Stay tuned for the latest news on Liberty Baseball, and we'll hear the thoughts of Flames head coach Scott Jackson, presented by Beacon Credit Union. Now, here's the voice of Flames Baseball, Nick Pierce.
Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report. My name is Nick Pierce. So glad to have you along as the Flames return home for a weekend series here against the Kent State Golden Flashes from Worthington Field at Liberty Baseball Stadium. Should be a great series. We're looking forward to it as the Flames come back home following a pair of midweek ball games. A win over Elon on Tuesday, then a loss at East Carolina, number 22 East Carolina, on Wednesday. Coming up on this week's show, it's a very abbreviated version of the Clubhouse Report this week. Alan York had a chance to visit with the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson, and get his thoughts coming into the weekend series. As the Flames enter the weekend at 8-5, also on this week's show, we'll take you back to some of the highlights from the week that was Liberty Baseball, and also we'll hear from Flames third baseman Ben Highfill. Highfill hit his first career walk-off home run, and in fact, in Ben's words, the first walk-off home run of his life last Sunday as Liberty knocked off Marist in the bottom of the ninth inning, 4-3 to complete the three-game sweep. Flames have been playing really good baseball at home. They are 8-1 at home and had a 7-game winning streak snapped on Wednesday when traveling down to East Carolina. Pirates got the Flames that night 11-0. It's been a very busy week around Liberty Athletics. As I said, an abbreviated show here this week. We'll get back to more full version of the Clubhouse Report next week, but there's a lot going on. We've got Liberty Flames basketball right now, and certainly a lot of good stuff going on. Flames basketball getting ready to play for an ASUN championship here on Sunday. And while this isn't a basketball show, we got to tip our caps to head coach Richie McKay and the Flames as they look to try to get back to the NCAA tournament for back-to-back years. That game's coming up Sunday in the Vine Center at 3 o'clock. Liberty will be taking on Lipscomb in a rematch of last year's ASUN championship game. And a lot of excitement around the Vines on Thursday night when Liberty knocked off Stetson, had to come back to do so. So just a very busy weekend on campus coming up here, and certainly a good problem to have, if you want to call it a problem. There's just so much coverage out there, so many things to cover, but certainly an exciting time here around Flames Athletics. Looking forward to the weekend series on the baseball diamond for sure, though. Liberty and Kent State, this is always a great matchup. These two clubs have met 11 times in the past. Liberty has won 6 of those meetings, and coming up here again this weekend, Kent State 6-5. The Golden Flashes have lost back-to-back ball games. They were actually no-hit this past Wednesday by West Virginia in a loss to the Mountaineers. They got walked off in the last game of the series at Winthrop last weekend, but Kent State had been playing some pretty good baseball prior to that. Jeff Duncan, 7th-year head coach, does a tremendous job there. They've turned out a lot of professional baseball players and certainly a lot of baseball intelligence on that coaching staff for sure. So it'll be a big challenge for the Flames coming up here this weekend. Kent State always very good in the MAC and very good on the national scene as well. Looking at this game coming in, or this series coming in, Kent State maybe not hitting as well right now as they'd like to. Only a .243 team batting average, but a 3.22 earned run average. Liberty's ERA at 3.11. Runs could be at a premium coming up here this weekend, so it should be a very interesting series. Talk about no-hitters. Kent State was on the wrong end of one last week. Very peculiar no-hitter this past Saturday, now 6 days ago at the time of this taping. Flames pitched their first no-hitter in 20 years. A combined effort last Saturday against Marist. But the Flames, and this is the peculiar part, won the game 6-4. They still gave up 4 runs in spite of allowing no hits to Marist. Now, I said this after the ball game, and I stand by it. It is a lot harder to no-hit someone than it is to shut someone out. So regardless of giving up the runs, I say celebrate that thing. And the Flames certainly did after getting that combined no-no. It was Noah Skiro who started the ball game for Liberty. Allowed 4 runs, only 2 earned, however. Flames did make an error behind him. Had 6 walks and 5 strikeouts. Skiro 5 1/3 innings. Then the bullpen was nails. Combination of Troy Britz and Landon Riley. Britz an inning and 2/3 scoreless, 2 walks, 8 batters faced. Landon Riley 2 scoreless innings after that, 6 batters faced, and he struck out 3 of them. Did not allow a base runner en route to, at the time, his first win of the season. Riley now 1-0 on the year and has 4 saves after he saved the ball game against Elon on Tuesday night. Riley just having a tremendous run of success out of Liberty's bullpen this season, and he's been a real key cog back there for them in the back end. Still no word on Will Wagner if he's going to play this weekend. Still nursing the foot injury that he suffered on opening day against Clemson. As we just kind of look at some of the news and noteworthies, I guess, coming into the weekend here. Certainly the Ortho Virginia Lynchburg injury report, a big part of that. Wagner still undergoing further evaluation for the foot. Jackson Haga, no update on his status other than he went down with the arm injury on Wednesday night. Hopefully we'll get an update on him at the ballpark this weekend from Coach Jackson. And we'll have all 3 games for you. Live audio streaming exclusively online at libertyflames.com. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit as we continue on here with the Clubhouse Report. We're going to take our first break. As we go to break, we'll share some of the highlights for you from this past week in Flames baseball. And when we come back, we'll hear from Flames third baseman Ben Highfill, and still on the way, Alan York sits down with the head coach, Scott Jackson. You're locked into Flames baseball and the Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network. Schilling edging away at first, not going. The pitch is swung on and driven into deep right field, up into the wind. That ball is out of here. A 2-run homer for Garrett Wilkinson as he rides the jet stream over the right center field wall. And that will give Liberty a 3-2 lead in the 4th. Payoff pitch from Riley. Here it is. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Rising, exploding fastball from Landon Riley at 91 miles an hour. Strikes out Brian Hart, and the Liberty Flames are shaking hands after Game 1. Still something special brewing here. Riley ready, the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball to right field. Rohrer going back, has a beat on it. He's got it, and there's your no-hitter. A combined 3-man no-hitter for the Liberty Flames pitching staff. 1-1 pitch upstairs, delayed steal, throw to second, and he is out from me to you. A perfect throw by Gray Betts hoses Napolitano for the second out of the inning. Joe Adamets gets a no decision now. Swing and a high fly ball. Hit deep to left by Highfill. It's got a chance. It's gone! And the Flames will win it on a walk-off solo home run for Ben Highfill. They mob him at the plate, and a beating is being administered to the Flames senior third baseman, Ben Highfill, with a walk-off winner into the bullpen. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Flames, starting with Highfill against Ian Evans. And he swings on the first pitch and hits it high and deep to left and way out of here for Ben Highfill. Solo shot now in back-to-back games for Ben Highfill. And that'll make it 3-0.
When you insure your car with Virginia Farm Bureau, you become a friend of the farm, meaning you'll get personalized service, fast claims processing, and competitive rates. And you help support farming and agriculture and preserve the Virginia way of life. All you have to do is drive. Go to VAFB.com now for a free online auto quote or visit your local agent today.
McGee for three at the horn. Yes!
Come watch your Liberty Flames men's basketball team play for the ASUN Championship. See Liberty battle the Lipscomb Bisons for the ASUN title and a trip to the NCAA tournament this Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Vine Center in Lynchburg. Come cheer on the Flames as they go for back-to-back conference titles and a trip to the big dance. Get your tickets at libertyflames.com/ASUN. Now back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance.
Welcome back to this week's show. Still to come, we've got the thoughts of Flames head baseball coach Scott Jackson coming up. But first, I want to throw it back to this past Sunday. As you heard, going to break, Ben Highfill launched a game-winning walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth inning to beat Marist this past Sunday. We had a chance to catch up with Ben on the radio after the big win. Here's that conversation. Ben, congrats, buddy. How you feeling? Did you get clobbered at home plate?
Yeah, thank you. I'm feeling really good now. They were gentle enough on me, so that was exciting for sure, though.
Yeah. When was the last time you hit a walk-off home run?
Never. Today was the first time. So
never in high school, never in travel ball, summer ball, none of that?
Never. It's the first time. It's a new feeling for me.
Well, let's go back to the at-bat. First pitch, what are you up there looking for?
Yeah, I was just looking for something down. Earlier in the game, I had chased a couple fastballs up out of the zone, so that's what I kind of made an adjustment from then to kind of just see the ball down and something that I could hit and try to drive it in the gap. So luckily I got one, and it just flew out. So
when you hit it, make contact, I mean, you could hear the dugout erupt. Did you kind of know it?
Yeah, I knew I got it pretty good. So I kind of make sure it wasn't going to go foul, and then after that, I was just hoping the wind wasn't going to blow it back in at that point.
Once again, that's Flames third baseman Ben Highfill from this past Sunday after Liberty knocked off Marist 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth inning on Highfill's walk-off homer. Highfill is certainly red hot heading into the weekend. Second leading hitter on the ball club right now, 15 out of 47 for a .319 batting average. Of his 15 hits, 9 of them have gone for extra bases, including 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. He's got a .660 slugging percentage. That's tops on the ball club. And his walks and strikeouts are just about even. So Highfill off to a tremendous start for the Flames, and he has certainly been a big reason why Liberty is 8-5 and 3 games over 500 up to this point. Let's turn our attention now down the hallway to the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson. Let's get his thoughts on the weekend series coming up here, presented by Beacon Credit Union. Earlier, Alan York had a chance to sit down with the head coach.
Coach, don't want to touch much on the game on Wednesday, but coming back, what was the message to the team as you split with Elon and East Carolina?
Well, I felt like, on a couple different levels there, we didn't execute what we practice, which is frustrating from a coaching standpoint, especially the defensive side of the ball. I thought there was a couple plays that got us, and we had a little fear in our eyes at times on the mound, which that can't happen. B, when you go on the road, it's got to be the opposite. And so, that was my message, is that sometimes failure and sometimes getting beat can turn out to be a good thing if you handle it the right way and you look yourself in the mirror and you have some self-awareness. That being said, I thought we were good on Tuesday night, and I thought we did some really good things. I thought we've taken some steps forward. Coming out of Wednesday's game, I'm going to choose, to really, really focus on Cole Garrett, Logan Barker, and some of those guys. I mean, Cole Garrett, this is the Cole Garrett that we saw last year at the end of the year. They got the save against Stetson. He's gotten in there with Coach Williams and done a really good job of his arm swing getting back closer to what it was last year. Just very open and just very honest with himself and say, okay, I'm accountable for things that aren't good right now, and I'm going to change it. And sure enough, to be able to do it that fast, it's a really big lift for our team.
Joined by head baseball coach Scott Jackson, and the thing we love about baseball, Scott, it's an everyday thing. And coming up to your office today, guys were coming in here and turning the page, and you had some other guys in here before we started taping this. Is this a good group that likes to get grimy and dirty and get the work in as they prepare for this weekend?
Yeah, they do. And, at some point, there's a fine line. You can get in the cages and you can grind and you can take all the swings you want and you can get to where you feel really, really good. You can watch the video and say, yep, I can see that. Can you take it to the batter's box? Can you compete with those elements that you're not thinking about mechanically? That's where I think our team's got to get better and got to turn the corner. Do we have cage rats, I call them? Absolutely, we do. We've got older players that, they really want to be good. Some of them have had a taste of some success in the past and very recent success, going back to last year. So it's just going to take it, not really worrying about the numbers and the stat line, worry about how competitive my at-bats can be and am I getting myself in good counts. And, after the first time getting beat, you get 3 or 4 chances in this game. Doggone it, I'm going to get in there and I'm not getting beat the next time. That's where we've got to turn the page and get a little bit better.
A couple players I want to kind of introduce to our fans out there that may not know the typical guys like Gray Betts and Brandon Rohr and Cam Locklear. Garrett Wilkinson and Brady Gulikowski. How did you find those kids in JUCO and going that route? When you get a JUCO kid in, how much is expected for those guys because they've had a couple of years to really produce when they get here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is going out and using relationships that you trust. You call a JUCO coach and hey, we need this position. Both of them happen to be junior college catchers. One was a right-handed hitter, one was a left-handed hitter. It was a really good scenario for us. How it was going to shake out, we didn't really know. The players determine all that, and so coming in here, I think Garrett's at bats, in the fall were just quality. So were Brady's. It's a little bit different type hitter, but when you go through the process of evaluating those kids, you don't really get enough time. There's a short window in the fall. Some kids want to make a decision early. So really, seeing and identifying some tools, a good swing, some strength, some plate discipline, those are great. But you really get a short look, and you have to rely on relationships and people that know the kids a little bit better than you do, and say, hey, yeah, this one's a good one. Brady, I recruited Brady when I was at the University of North Carolina. He ended up going to NC State, so I didn't really have to worry too much about that one. Garrett's from Midland. He's from San Antonio. We had to dig a little bit there and try to find some things. But those kids are older. They're stronger. And their heart rate, I like to say, is a little bit lower sometimes in those big moments. Yeah.
That is good to have those kids when the pressure's packed, that their heart isn't racing as fast as maybe some of the younger kids. When you look at the game of baseball and you want to win with pitching, this team has pitching, it's got defense, and that's ahead of the offense right now. Will a coach take that a couple of weeks into the season? And I know you want the offense to come around, and we always say it will, but would you rather have the pitching and defense keep a close game and maybe win 6-5 or 3-2? Or at some point, when do you be like, okay, offense, you got to come around here?
Yeah, I'll take pitching and defense every day of the week and twice on Sunday, just because you give yourself a chance to win the game. I think there's an element of maybe on edge. I don't know. That's maybe a bad way to say it, but I like those close games. I like teams that are comfortable playing close games. I like teams that are comfortable when it really gets late in the ball game, and you have to bring somebody out of the bullpen that's got to fill up the zone, that's got to have 2 pitches, that there's the margin for error is thin. Am I frustrated with our offense? Yeah, I'm frustrated. Our kids are frustrated. That's part of this game. However, we're sitting at 8-5, and we're not even close to where I think we can be offensively. Not to mention, we've put ourselves in a position to have bringing some guys out of the pen in close games, in big situations, and they've had to grow up for us. So that formula for me early in the year, I'll take it.
Let's look ahead to Kent State this weekend. For those of you that don't know about Kent State, do your homework. A really good, not just team, baseball program. When you see a team out of the MAC, which you might not think having good baseball, fans need to think again. Not to disrespect them, but Kent State's pretty good, bringing a good team in here that won a couple of games against undefeated Winthrop team earlier this weekend, but coming off a loss to West Virginia. That being said, you've got the tools of what's going to happen here this weekend. What's your impressions of Kent State and what you're up against coming up?
That's a great rotation. I mean, Albright, it's going to be right, left, right. It's going to be 3 different looks. Albright on Friday's a big arm. He's going to be a good draft. He's just a sophomore. Rommel's got that change up, that's really, really tough that he'll throw in any count at any time. And then you go to the Sunday, with Lane, and he's a cutter guy, kind of a different look, righty that can really do some things on both sides of the plate. So that's where you start for me. I mean, any team that's good, they have good pitching and they have good weekend rotation. They're probably in the same boat as us. They're missing their best, one of their best hitters, I guess, and they're probably not swinging it as well as they would want. But here they are. They're kind of like us. They keep themselves in games. They play great defense. They can really do some things with the short game. So Jeff's really good. I got a lot of respect for Jeff Duncan, Mike Birkbeck. I remember he's their pitching coach. I remember watching him pitch, in the big leagues growing up. So there's some baseball acumen over there and some good coaching and a lot of tradition in that program. So it's going to be a big test.
Final thought here, Scott, as we look at, I'm not going to focus on Ben Carew, which is one of their best hitters they've got, but I do think of that last name, and you and I being from the 80s and 90s and even before that, I think of Rod Carew immediately when I saw his name. No relation, I don't think, but it made me think of you. Who was your big league hero growing up?
That's easy. I mean, it was Cal Ripken, from day one for me. I don't really know how that started. I knew my dad was an Orioles fan, and we kind of grew up, with some stops in that DC area, and he just the way he carried himself and the reliability of that guy. And then I guess right as I was starting to realize, hey, I love baseball and Major League Baseball. He was a Rookie of the Year in '82, and then the MVP in '83, and they won the World Series. So, yeah, he's always been, kind of my childhood hero. I wouldn't be nervous meeting too many people, but I've met him a couple times, and it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, I've met him once before. He's a class act. Scott, always appreciate the time. Good luck against Kent State, okay?
All right, thanks, Alan.
As always, the thoughts of head coach Scott Jackson are presented by Beacon Credit Union. All right, stick around. When we come back, we will wrap up this week's show with a look ahead to each game this weekend, a look at your weather forecast, and plenty more coming up on the Flames Clubhouse Report.
This broadcast of Liberty Flames Athletics is brought to you in part by Beacon Credit Union. Beacon Credit Union is a full-service financial institution offering a wide range of products and services. Having served Lynchburg and the surrounding area for over 75 years, our vision is to be the premier provider of quality financial services, a leader in our community, and the most progressive financial institution in our field. More information on Beacon Credit Union and all your banking needs is available online at mybcu.org. Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Now back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance.
All right, welcome back one final time on this week's show. Nick Pierce with you as we look ahead to the weekend series with the Kent State Golden Flashes. Game 1, Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Worthington Field at Liberty Baseball Stadium. Gates open at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a chilly, breezy, overcast Game 1. Temperature right around 51 degrees, but winds at about 20 miles an hour coming out of the northwest. So could be a tough day for the hitters out there. For that matter, could be a tough day for pitchers coming in trying to throw strikes out of the bullpen. Coming up, Game 2 Saturday. That'll be a 2 o'clock start time. 55 degrees and sunny. That should be a beautiful day. And then more beautiful weather on the way Sunday. 62 degrees the high. And first pitch coming up at 1 o'clock on Sunday. All 3 games this weekend will be broadcast online, libertyflames.com with live audio. Also on the LU Today mobile app. Just download the app, click Athletics, click Radio at the bottom of the screen, and it will take you right to the Liberty Flames Athletics live streaming encoder. So you'll have the game that way as well. And then Sunday, our game will actually be on the radio also in Lynchburg at 90.9 FM, The Light. So plenty of ways to keep up with Flames baseball coming up here this weekend. Should be a great series between Liberty and Kent State from Worthington Field at Liberty Baseball Stadium. That's going to wrap up this week's show. We appreciate our guests, Ben Highfill, Coach Jackson, and also for Alan York making an appearance here this week as well. For all of us at the Liberty Flames Sports Network, my name is Nick Pierce. Enjoy the baseball this weekend. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance. For more on Flames baseball, check out libertyflames.com. Plus, you can also follow the team on Twitter and Instagram at Liberty Baseball and on Facebook at Liberty Flames Baseball. The Flames Clubhouse Report is an exclusive presentation from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.